I guess just to start it off, just tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do for the city of Longmont? What's your everyday look like?
Yeah, so my name's John Gage. I'm a civil engineer in our environmental services group with the city. So underneath the umbrella of Public Works and Natural Resources, we have our treatment operations group, our engineering group, and then environmental services. And our operations group handles the day-to-day of operating our treatment plants. Our engineering division typically handles capital improvement project construction, and then environmental services is generally kind of a technical resource as well as a regulatory compliance unit within the city. But we also, in some circumstances, handle capital improvement project management. And that's what I got to do for the renewable natural gas project that we did.
Great. So I don't know, I might not know as much about RNG as you do, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers and readers probably don't know a ton about RNG. So what is RNG? How do you get it? How is it processed? How is it used? What are the best uses for it? What can't you use it for? Just RNG 101, basically.
Yeah, RNG 101. So when we say RNG, we're talking about renewable natural gas, and that can confuse some people because when you just have natural gas in the title, you think of a fossil fuel.
Yeah, totally.
But renewable natural gas is the idea of creating this concentrated methane gas from a renewable source. And so for the most part, that RNG is really generated through a process called anaerobic digestion. So you can find RNG, from like landfills and different things. But I think for the most part, what most folks are interested are in the sources generated from municipal wastewater plants, and that process is called anaerobic digestion.
Gotcha.
And you can just think about it like a big tank that we add waste products to, and there's biology in the tank doing work. So similar like to a brewing process, right, where you're using biology to break down a carbon source into alcohol. So this process actually uses biology to break down carbon sources into methane gas. And so what we get from that process is something we call biogas. And so we'll kind of use those two different terms here. There's biogas, which is the product we generate off of anaerobic digestion. And that product of biogas has methane, but it also has CO2, so carbon dioxide, high levels a lot of times of hydrogen sulfide, which is a contaminant, and other trace contaminants. So the biogas is the untreated side.
Okay.
We talk about renewable natural gas. A lot of times that is the product that's the treated biogas that you can then use for really anything. The same thing that's used for natural gas. That could be compressed natural gas vehicles, but it's going into the pipeline sometimes, and so that could be used in any way that a natural gas would be used. So those, hopefully that helps. There's the distinction there.
Yeah. So can RNG or biogas be used in the same ways that traditional compressed natural gas can be used, or are there differences in which vehicles or which applications they can be used for?
Yeah, there is a little bit of a difference. And so when you talk about RNG, there's generally some sort of specification that goes along with it that can either allow it to be used in an engine, or if it's treated to a much higher spec, then you can actually insert that into the natural gas pipeline, and it can be used really for anything. So when we talk about using it in engines, on certain wastewater plant sites, you can send treated RNG that's a little bit of lower quality to an internal combustion engine, and that generates electricity and heat. So that's one way to use quote unquote RNG. And in our instance at the city of Longmont, we don't treat it to a level that would be injected into a pipeline, but it's suitable for use in our vehicles. And so that is still considered an RNG product.
Yeah.
And we directly use it in vehicles, and that way we don't have to work around the natural gas pipeline specs. But there is kind of this encompassing RNG term, and that RNG can be used in a few different ways depending on the quality of the gas.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think the closed loop nature of that is really interesting, how you can just take it right from the wastewater treatment plant, use it in your vehicles, and it all stays right within Longmont. That's really interesting.